monitoring this situation with Dan Graziano, as we'll wait and see if any further positive tests come in today and as the week goes on. That will be very significant. But for the moment, let's take the football side of this. RC, you began the program today talking about the relationship between Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski and how significant that is, particularly during games. So how much pressure is there on Mayfield now to play Sunday night without his guru?
There's a ton of pressure on Baker Mayfield. I couldn't even get it out. I was trying to get it out so fast. Like that. When you look at Baker Mayfield and what this year has meant to him, the way that we saw him coming out of last year with Freddie Kitchens and now moving him into thinking that he could be the franchise quarterback of the future going forward for the Cleveland Browns, that's solely because of what Kevin Stefanski has been able to do with Baker Mayfield. And we know that Baker Mayfield internalizes pressure, right? Baker Mayfield loves adversity. He loves the underdog role. Well, here he is. Here he is again without his head coach, the person that many people attribute his success to. Going into the playoffs, he's going to put that on his shoulders to try to come out and show the world that he's more than just a puppet for a great head coach and play caller.
Will it be evident to us watching, Dominique? Will we see something different in the way the offense looks, would you imagine, based on Stefanski not being there?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that would suggest that he has little to no value if we thought it would be the same. I think it's going to be hard for us to tell exactly like what plays or what decisions he would make, but It won't be nearly as effective as it's been recently, especially without that coach. But I don't agree with Ryan on the pressure part. I think they have so many excuses for Baker right now that he's not supposed to win this game. The Steelers are supposed to be better, and they're getting hit by COVID right now. I think most people would give Baker a pass if they lose this particular game and just be satisfied that he got them to the playoffs.
That may be true, but as we'll just do this very quickly, the quarterbacks who we think are facing the most pressure this weekend, and Graziano, I will start with you. I would say Baker Mayfield because now it's on him. And now he doesn't have that security blanket. He doesn't have the guy that he has worked so well with. So I understand that the world may not come down on him, but he wants to win this playoff game. And I think all the pressure now goes on his shoulders. Graziano, haven't heard from you. Who's the quarterback under the most pressure in your view this weekend?
I think it's Lamar Jackson because the one thing people are, continue to knock Lamar Jackson for is playoff performance, right? I mean, he's won an MVP. He's shown this year that he can recover from a tough start, playing at his MVP level now the last few weeks. But what's the one thing we still don't know about him? Can he deliver in the playoffs? His 2 playoff games so far have been terrible. And if he has another terrible one, then this sticks to him for at least another year. I'm with Dominique on Baker Mayfield. I think, he's already accomplished, more than people expected him to this year. And there are excuses for him if it doesn't work out this weekend. Lamar, this is the big one for him.
Nick, who's the quarterback under your microscope?
Yeah, I think it's Aaron Rodgers, and it's because of time. I think Dan is right about Lamar Jackson, but Lamar, his career is very young. He's got a lot more time to overcome that perception and potentially win a Super Bowl. I think Aaron Rodgers, right now, this is a kind of legacy-defining run that he could have right here. Jumping to 2 Super Bowls puts him in more elite category, and also putting him on top of winning a regular season MVP, which we all think he's probably going to end up doing. And then if he could go to the Super Bowl and possibly outduel Patrick Mahomes, I think because he has limited time left and so much to gain from this run, there's so much pressure on Aaron Rodgers.
I'll buy that on the timing. RC, finish it up. Who you got?
No, listen, I agree with both of those guys from this sense. Lamar this weekend, Aaron Rodgers for the entire playoffs. Lamar has to go out and win this game and play well. But when you look at Aaron Rodgers, he's 1-4 in NFC championships. He's a guy who many of us think is 1A, 1B with Patrick Mahomes for the best we've ever seen with our eyes. And he only has 1 Super Bowl. And so if Aaron Rodgers makes this jump after winning a regular season MVP, which we all kind of assume that he will, and now he's at the 2 Super Bowl mark, and you're with John Elway, and you're with Peyton Manning, now you become a part of a different discussion. You become a part of the greatest of all time discussion, which is where Aaron Rodgers truly belongs. But without the team accolades, without the team accomplishments, you don't get there. And that's what's important about this season, being an alpha dog, being the best player in the NFL, and being a champion.
That one I buy. You guys went big picture. I had been thinking of it small picture. In the big picture, I agree with that. Meanwhile, nobody mentioned Tom Brady, who was going into the playoffs for the first time in his career as a wild card. And he goes up against a Washington football team with a really good young defense, particularly in the person of Chase Young, who called out Brady on Sunday. You'll hear that here, and then you will hear Bruce Arians, the Tampa coach, who was on my radio show yesterday.
Tom Brady, I'm coming. I want Tom.
I think the offensive line enjoyed it. He's a great player, and he's got a lot of enthusiasm, and why wouldn't he? I mean, we didn't take anything by it. He's a heck of a young player, and hopefully our guys can protect him. But it was obviously a talk in the locker room this morning.
So that was Arians yesterday. What do you think, Dominique? What is that talk like in that locker room after Chase Young? There's that whole "don't tug on Superman's cape" thing. Are you worried about that?
No, not at all. I mean, so Tom Brady is going to go into this playoff game and be kind of ready to play. But did you see that cell phone video of Chase Young? So you're telling me that Tom Brady was sitting at home eating his avocado ice cream, and then he saw that video, he spit it out. I'm going to study film right now because Chase Young said he wants to get me. Like, that to me kind of feels a little bit absurd. Or the offensive linemen are suddenly, we're going to kick slide a little bit harder because of that video that Chase Young put out. But I don't know, it's fun. I think it adds to the excitement and interest of the game, but I think it has no impact on the outcome or the preparation.
What do you think, RC?
I think Chase Young feels like Sheree Whitfield from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She once asked a question, who gonna check me, boo? And that's what Chase Young feels. Because Chase Young is looking at this from his own perspective, that there's gonna be a dude who stands in front of me who gotta block me. I ain't scared of him. And then when I beat him, it's gonna be based on the fact, it's gonna be, can Tom Brady be more athletic than I am? Can Tom Brady be stronger than me? No, he cannot. That's the individual prism he's looking at this from. And I got an opportunity to interview Chase Young the day before the draft, and I asked him a very simple question. If you could sack anybody in the league, who would it be? And he said Tom Brady. This dude's 21. Tom Brady has been the greatest quarterback of all time since this dude's been watching football. Hell yeah, he wants to sack him. Now, he ain't thinking about his homeboys, right? He ain't thinking about Kendall Fuller. He ain't thinking about Ronald Darby. He ain't thinking about all these dudes that got to cover all these wide receivers. He's simply thinking about him. And what he's thinking is, based on what I know about me, I'm the baddest dude in the world. So you can't block me and you can't run from me. So I'm going to go get Tom Brady. Now, the rest of y'all got to do y'all jobs. But who going to check me, boo, is what Chase Young thinking.
What do you think, Desmond?
Listen, Chase Young is a fantastic young talent, but he's a rookie. He's a rookie, and he thinks it's a takeover. But don't bark up that tree, because that tree will fall on you. And I don't know why your teammates forewarned you.